the servants of Kitava beneath our heels as we marched across the land. I allowed not one of my 500 to fall. The blood of the ancestors surged in our veins, and each and every one of my warriors earned Tukohama's mark upon their skin. We descended into the heart of Rayclast, and there he came to me, Tukohama. He asked of me a sacrifice. I gave it willingly. My axe fell 500 times, the jade drinking its fill of Kardui blood. Tukohama was pleased.
I'm ready, and not before. When I'm ready, and not before.
What is it, exile?
When I'm ready, and not before.
Opened the gate and invited ancestors raised the remembered as his children, tortured our dreams. Kitava murdered the Karui way. I will found a new way, for I have been chosen. I gather my forces so that I might wage war on Kitava. I am the son of Tukohama, and I will lead the Karui back to glory.
I'm ready and not before.
Freyclast, you were infected. Kitava has soaked this land in his filth. I will crush the corruption from your bones. Drain your black blood upon this sacred ground. Brothers and sisters, I honor you with the warrior's death. Your spirits will fight by my side when we march against Kitava. You will be given in service to Tukohama. You will be remembered with glory. The Black Spirit walks amongst us.
When I'm ready and not before. That's what you get for losing your temper, Kaum.
Yes. What do you need now?
At age 13, carving knife in hand, I killed beasts for the amusement of the filthy. At 15, that thought me worthy to fight a fellow man. A butcher he was, twice as big and twice as stupid as I. I butchered the butcher, and many like him. Earned my way, kill by kill, out of the awful pit and into the grand arena. I thought I would find wealth and glory in the arena. I was wrong. I found something far more precious. My Lady Merveille. I knelt in the sand of the Grand Arena.
When I'm ready
awaiting the
and not
killing blow.
before.
I raised my eyes to look upon my death. Instead, I saw her. Her beautiful eyes met mine. I knew she saw me. his own dagger. Fighting had always been about survival, the primal instinct to kill or be killed. Now, the fight became about something else. Love. Enough to climb a crown. We shall see. The previous King of Swords was a giant of a man, both faster and stronger than I. Yet I needed only the swords is nothing veil if he cannot ignore his crown choice. I could not die this day. I made him shiver under every parry, striking with all of my might so that my arms felt they might snap with every impact. All the while, I studied his face, watching for that moment when he began to doubt. For an hour, finally, it was there. Burning with pain, empty with exhaustion, I stepped inside his faltering swing, and I slit the giant's throat. I did not take my victory. In the sun, looked to the veil. He cried out for my lady's hand and marched. From that day forth, I walked.
I'm sorry to have to break this to you, Tereso, but she's not real. And not before. Too much clutter.
What do you need now?
Fury and desire, together again. Lovely and lovely. Facets so shiny, replete with the vim of murdered souls. My Malachi did the crafting. Beautiful work. General Adis did the murdering. Equally beautiful work, in its own juicy way. Num-num's time, my little rapture. Have you ever been to the end of the world before, my king? Asked the blackest monkey. No, I have not, realized the Monkey King. There is my reason to go where you go, be where you be, my king, concluded the blackest monkey in a voice as warm and welcoming as death. Do you know who wrote that? Not a cockroach? Victorio Navalius, the people's poet of Sarn. He was my friend, and I betrayed him. Took his love and burned it before his eyes. Now I am betrayed. My heart burned black by the one man I loved. Malachi. He's found a new heart, you see. A beast's heart to cuddle up to keep him warm and safe at the end of the world. Today, I remind Malachi of his betrayal. Today, it is his turn to burn. Malachi's devices, his creations, he loved them all, not me. He betrayed me then, said he loved me, then said he wanted me to die. He betrays me now. Let me suffer. Let me wither. Am I the one and only mistake that you ever made, Malachi? Yes, that's me. Diala, the Gemling Queen. Malachi's misdemeanor. Make him regret his mistake. Not a cockroach. Tear open the beast's black heart. Rip Malachi from his filthy little nightmare. Cut him. Crush him. Burn him from existence. He deserves no better. And I deserve no worse. No love for me. No love. No love. No love.
It's not every day you get to walk into a living, breathing nightmare. not before. Clumsy me. I'm ready, and not before. When I'm ready, and not before.
Be happy for me, sister. It's not often we get to erase our failures. Mistakes can be our greatest achievements. That's twice I've underestimated you, sister. Twice now that your talents have proved to exceed even mine. So it looks like you'll be the one to finish what I so blindly started. Part of me wishes I'd died at your feet as was intended. The little girl within me that shies from darkness, from greatness. It was Malachi who reached out to me, who wrapped me in nightmare, made me his slave. He has shown me greatness beyond imagining, so much that I thought my mind would shatter under its weight. And although my mind remains intact, my dreams were not so fortunate. Malachi is in the beast's black core right now, harnessing all that the beast is and will be. He will destroy this world and forge it anew in the divine image of nightmare. Yet as powerful as Malachi has become, he is neither unreachable nor invulnerable. He sacrificed much to become the beast's prime servant, both in spirit and in flesh, yet 3 vital organs remain. His heart, lungs, and entrails, keepsakes of humanity lost. They will be our tickets into Malachi's private little show. Venture deeper, deep into Nightmare's abattoir. I'll follow when I'm able. You find me those organs, and I'll get us into the black core. Malachi chose his 3 most loyal servants to guard those precious innards. His godless 3. Inquisitor Malagaro, Chevron of Umbra, and Doedri Darktongue. If the history books are accurate, High Templar Vol burned Malagaro and Doedri at the stake on his way to lay siege to Sarn. He didn't have to worry himself with Chevron. Brutus had already sorted her out. Yet slaves of nightmare seem to be shackled just as tightly to life as they are to the beast. I, of course, am living proof of that. Don't worry yourself with that little detail, though. Shackles are made to be unlocked.
That's impressive.
It seems I've underestimated piety. Good. I like surprises. When I'm ready, and not before.
On this day, the eve of this rapture's completion, I honor those who have passed, and whose passion and knowledge have brought us to the brink of salvation. Inquisitor Maligaro, a creative force without equal. Chevron of Umbra, an aesthete of transcendent sensibility. Doedri Darktongue, an idol of fervor and dedication. You taught me far more than I ever taught you, my students. My friends, we strove to make a greater world together, and in your memory, I shall make that world a reality. Malachi.
What do you want?
Before we walk this path together, it's important that you understand one thing about me. I don't regret a single thing that I've done. I set out to raise humanity up from the cloying mud of its fleshly ignorance. My mistake was not in the aspiration, but in the execution. Now I intend to correct that mistake. Really, I'm not helping you, Exile. You're helping me. So, have you found those juicy organs for me yet? Malachi knew exactly what he was doing when he created the Rapture. His primary concern, get inside the beast and take up the reins of true power. And his second objective, incite a cataclysm that would wipe the very thought of resistance from this land. The beast is the source of all thaumaturgy, the one power in this world that transforms what is real into what is imagined. The entire world is now at the mercy of one man's vision. It won't be the future I imagined, and it won't be the future you imagined either. While he remains within the black core, the only imagination that matters is Malachi's.
You will make such lovely material.
After Brutus, I'm glad I won't be seeing any more of your work. When I'm ready, and not before. ready and not before. Doedry, we witches have to have some standards.
Exquisite.
When I'm ready and not before.
I could have made you into a wonder.
I hate to be critical, but I've seen better.
Malachi knew exactly what he was doing when he...
I have been expecting you, witch. You and I are about to create the most beautiful of nightmares together. We'll go to bed now, little girl. Or do I need to tuck you in?
Now, exile! This is what I get for trying to be a bloody hero. Who'd have thought you'd be so suited to the role? I was convinced I'd made a fatal mistake in sparing your life in Axiom Prison. Fatal, yes, but a mistake? No. Go now, sister. It's up to you to teach Malachi the true definition of nightmare.
I hope he doesn't listen, Piety. That'll make it even more fun.
Now, let us see if you truly understand what it means to be Nightmare.
When I'm ready, and not before.
I gave my life. Nightmare gave me so much more. Accept the gift of immortality. Is the true eternal. Why are you so in love with death? You are being selfish.
So frightened of death, weren't you? Now the two of you can get better acquainted. It's really not so bad once you get to know it.
What cannot be understood should be feared. It is the first rule that a child learns. There is no shame in my saying this. I fear you, witch. The Gemling Queen has given of that black life of hers. For what? To wound and wake the beast that should have been slaughtered in its sleep. Diala's path would lead us into cataclysm. Follow your own path from now on. Yes?
It's obvious to everyone now.
There's no one like you, Witch.
The Beast learned that the hard way.
And the whole of Ray class will learn about it, one way or another.
So I guess this is the happily ever after they promised us when we were kids, right, Vanya?
For us, for Ray class, maybe. What about you, sister? Do you even know what that looks like for you?
There's plenty of happiness to go around now.
You deserve a piece of it.
Diala saw the mistakes of the past with her own eyes, and now she's given everything to fix them. Right, Vanya?
I don't know, Pataris. I saw people die for each other in San. I saw clarity, resolution in their eyes. In Diala's eyes, I see ghosts.
Those eyes have seen horrors that we can't even imagine.
Maybe. But this sacrifice of hers, I think it was more like a deal, and Diala didn't quite get what she bargained for. Piety. She still lives.
Then she needs to die again.
Permanently this time. I honestly don't know who I am more scared of. The Beast or that black-hearted witch.
It's the combination that scares me. And it should scare you too, Exile. You killed the Sword King?
Dureso wasn't actually alive, Pataris.
Dureso must have thought he was alive.
True. Thinking and being. A bit of a blurred line here in Rayclast.
Exactly.
witch. I knew you would embrace the beast, yet I couldn't know that you would squeeze the very life from it. Honestly didn't think you had that much love in you. Now one thing remains to be seen. Your regard, your touch, your embrace can mean only doom for the loved. Please, choose your loves wisely, witch, lest you break poor Oriath's heart. Yes, that's right, Oriath. Upon the mountain high, a gateway has opened, one that shall lead you back home. Hurry, for as the death throes of the beast soften and still, I see the gate beginning to close. Follow your heart, witch, no matter how dark it becomes. When a boil is fat with infection, it glistens with the luster of false youth. Lance that boil, and it weeps its corruption away and shrivels to nothing. Whether by purpose or desire, you are the physician who has revealed Diala's truest nature. Dodeso was always a good man at heart, chained to an eternity of love and triumph. You set him free. Nightmare gave Kaom everything he ever dreamed of. How did it feel to make that dream die? Upon death, our bodies return to the ground. Those that are marked with darkness nourish the corruption. Those that were mighty in life are stolen away. They are carved and crafted, manipulated with malevolent creativity into becoming Malachi's servants, forged into ghasts of pure nightmare. If Deshret were able, she'd thank you for dispatching her tormentors, Malachi's wicked little trio. You have to content yourself with my thanks instead. Deshret has been avenged, as is the way of the Madaketh. Tidiness helps one sleep at night, don't you think?
What is that in your eyes? That glistening, that softness? Is that pity? Take those pitying eyes away before I pluck them from your face. The little girl walked into a dark, dark cave. The little girl met a dark, dark beast. The little girl ate its dark, dark heart. My Malachi is dead. I knew it, felt it, understood it the moment you struck the final blow. I was the Gemling Queen, and now my king is dead. We dreamed only the greatest dreams, Malachi and I. A truly eternal empire, eternal life, eternal love, a future no longer afraid of the past, eternal lies, eternal loss. Those are our true gifts to Rayclast. This land could not have asked for a worse king and queen. Rayclast leaves the past behind it now. Malachi's past. My past. It thanks you, not a cockroach. It loves you. I wish that I could do the same. Take this. I've given everything else to him. My youth and beauty, my body and mind, my heart, and at last, the only thing he ever gave to me in return, my gemling power. This is all I have left. I entrust it to you, not a cockroach. Malachi taught me not to trust anyone. It is time to forget everything that Malachi taught me. The little cockroach witch. Malachi chose her over me. Use her then. Use her as Malachi uses her. Burn betrayal with betrayal. It's all they deserve.
I was right to have faith in you, Cursebreaker. You have succeeded where we have failed. You have slain a creature that was thought to live forever in the minds of those who came before you. Vol, Daresso, Kaum, Deshret, the greatest champions Rayclast has seen in the last 300 years. You stood where they fell. Now you are the champion of champions, and Rayclast should bow at your feet in gratitude. You certainly have my gratitude, and that of my Akara. We have been exiled from our land by fear and misguided duty. Now we may return, to ride where we will, live how we wish. Cursebreaker, giver of freedom, we thank you. I am told that you have put King Calm down to his final rest. Cursebreaker, and now the murderer of legends. Great names hatch upon you like ticks on a roar. Diala's hopes may be crushed, but ours still thrive in you, Cursebreaker. From what Tasuni tells me, the beast's innards are now yours to penetrate. Diala has served her purpose. Now comes the time for you to serve yours. Find this Malachi that Diala mutters about so incessantly. If my understanding is true, then he is the mind of the beast. Kill him, and the body of Nightmare will die with him. Thank you for doing Deshret so great an honor. Your generosity shall be remembered.
When I'm ready, and not before. I like you better this way.
Captain Tavares, altitude is imperative to forging a stable connection with the prime resonator in Theopolis. Power source is equally vital. Locate a fissure in the mountainside and lower a conductive cable into it. The deeper, the better. It will take an immense amount of thaumaturgical energy to execute the successful disintegration and transmission of objects, both inanimate and animate, between Highgate and Theopolis. For that kind of power, we must tap the origin. I needn't remind you of the consequences should either of those elements prove deficient. That is why I would like you, Tavares, to be the first to test the resonator once it is operational. Accountability is a perfect counterweight to ambition. High Templar Dominus.
When I'm ready, and not before.
The Mother of Death watches over the city with great interest. You have joined us just in time. Before you lies a great many paths, each walked by a different life. But each must come to the same end. Eventually.
After everything I've done, it took an Oriathan to get these slaves up off their shackled asses and fighting. I guess the Templars should have treated their lessers better than their slaves, eh? Well, I'm not about to turn down a gift from Kitava. If he wants slave and outcast to join hands, then let's remind these Templar that they're flesh and blood, just like us. Utulamakora is what they call me. I'm what passes for a chief around here. Well, I put the steel in their hands. I tell them where to stab, where to run, where to die. If that doesn't make me a chief, what does, eh? Blood isn't the only currency we need to earn to buy our freedom. We can kill all the Templar mongrels we like out there. It won't matter a damn if we don't get inside their stronghold, the Templar courts. Might as well put my bloody chains back on right now. Problem is, there's some sort of witchery surrounding the place. Only those who see the truth with faithful eyes are getting in there. The power of innocence. It's all in the eyes, you see. Yet blessed Kitava has answered my prayers and sent us just the pair of eyes we need. The ever-faithful Justicar Casticus. He's there in the control blocks right now, smiting my people with self-righteous fury. Find him and rip his faithful eyes out. Then I'm sure the good Justicar will be kind enough to see you into the Templar courts. Take a deep breath. Inhale the twin stink of exploitation and oppression. Yes, these pens and cells have been our home away from home since the first card we were brought here by Marseus Lioneye, their great hero of the Empire. One of the best slavers they ever had. Not that he was the only one. Captain Sigmund Fairgraves funded many an expedition off the whipped backs of Karui children. High Templar Dominus was only the latest in a long line of men to grow rich by trading in misery. Oriathan wealth was built on Karui poverty. Oriathan gold will forever be stained red by Karui blood. Overseer's Tower, this place is called. And you know the worst thing about the men who stood here, watching us, cursing us, descending to whip and kick us like curs? They were slaves, like us, willing to turn on their brethren for a bigger cage and a few extra rations. I can't quite put into words what a pleasure it was to take this tower, to rip the greedy eyes from those traitors. Did they see it coming? I hope so. Well, I know his other names. The Black Spirit, the Cannibal King, the Ravenous One. He was all of those things before Tsukuhama slashed out his eyes, before Valakor drowned him in the sea, before Hinekora whipped him and condemned him to immortal darkness. Kitava has learned from the suffering inflicted upon him, learned what cruelty is from his own flesh and blood, learned what it means to be a slave. Now he hungers for freedom, not merely for himself, for all of us who have suffered under whip and shackle. Kitava is the tormented one, destined to rise up from the darkness and banish cruelty from this world, and we, his children, Rise with him. Old Red Eyes. He's been quiet for a long time, just like Kitava and Tsukohama, all of the old gods. Now Innocence has woken up, and with him, power like I've never seen the Templar wield before. It's all right, though. We slaves, we've got our own god looking out for us now. I can see him in the eyes of my brothers and sisters, smell him in the blood we've spilled, hear his call in the screams of the fallen. I don't rightly know where the gods have been or what's brought them crawling back, nor do I really care. All I need to know, my friend, is that we're not alone anymore. There's two parts to the Templar, the grim face and the spotty ass. Out front you've got the Templar courts, usually the last place our Hatungos see if they're stupid enough to preach their craft within a Templar's hearing. Oriath's woodmongers must do a roaring trade with that place. When the wind blows right, you can even smell the aroma of barbecued blasphemer from here. The arse end, that's the Chamber of Innocence. It's where the real earnest believing gets done, where the young Templar go to pay their respects to God Almighty and get the good sense baptized out of their heads. I've not seen the inside of the chamber myself, but you can feel it from over a block away. Like there's an eye in your gut, peering through your insides, looking for even the tiniest stain of sin. I tell you, sane people go in one end of that place, ash and apostles come out the other. Watch yourself in there. With Dominus away in Rayclast, someone had to keep the wheels of oppression turning. Avarius was only too happy to take the job. It had plenty of practice already, of course. It was Avarius who led some of the largest and most crippling raids upon the Ngāmakanui and the Ngākura McCoy. It was on his orders that men, women and children were shackled and shipped like cattle to Theopolis. And it was Avarius who spent 5,000 Karui lives building his Templar courts and his Chamber of Innocence, who had wives and daughters scrub their husbands' and fathers' blood from the stones so as to preserve their purity. When you meet Avarius, feel free to exact a little extra vengeance in the name of Karui's suffering. Something? Talamoana, see.
need something?
An exile returned. How was that even possible? Rising out of the darkness to claim the souls of our enemies like Hinekora in the stories my mother used to tell me. Well, your divine intervention gave us just the diversion we needed to take this tower. So if you keep doing things like that, then I might have to start believing in the gods again. And thank you for finishing off that last overseer for us. I don't know what sort of mother could have birthed that land-loving whale, but we were lucky he wasn't here when we took this tower. He'd have spread us across the floor like butter on a piece of bread. Here, take something for helping us in this hopeless fight of ours. We'd been planning it for months, spreading the word, stealing weapons, gathering support. Utula and his followers did most of the dirty work. I just carried a few messages here and there. Should have known I'd end up like this when the real fighting started. In the darkest hour before dawn, that's when we broke our chains, and as many overseer necks as we could wrap our hands around. We took the Panopticon as the sun rose over Theopolis, and that's as far as we got. When you're up against cold steel and colder hearts, there's only so far that anger will take you. Few of us can say that we've devoted our lives to anything greater than ourselves. Can you? I think Utula can. Since the day I met him, I've seen Utula do nothing that wasn't in the service of his people. He's a smart one. He could have escaped. He could have sailed off to Namakanui and never looked back. Yet there he stands, our herald of freedom. I might die of this wound, yet I'd be giving but a fraction of what Utula has to honor the Karui way.
Unlike these assorted ignorami, I'm not surprised to see you here. The beast is dead, all thanks to you, I suppose. I was listening to the beast's death rattles when these lunatics broke in, wrecked the place, and dragged me here to tend to their cuts and bruises. Thankfully, I was able to bring some of my paraphernalia with me. The balance of power is shifting in your favor, O murderer of nightmares. If I am in possession of anything that might smooth the transition of governance, don't hesitate to ask. You'll find my terms quite reasonable. Some time ago, I fabricated a device able to sense and amplify the corrupt murmurings of Rayclast, a miasmeter. I listened to those whispers for years, lingering beyond sane comprehension. And then the scream. Such profound agony that my mind was nearly sundered by its percussion. I thought another cataclysm might be upon us. But no, it was you, slaying the beast. I was witness to a singularly potent cadence. This corruption, I am convinced that it holds the very key to our human history, and with it, our very existence. Yet without the miasmeter, I'm condemned to deafened ignorance. It remains in Piety's laboratory, as long as Utula's miscreants haven't vandalized the poor thing. Find it. In contrast to the company she keeps, Lani has quite an astute mind. I put it down to that Oriathan education she's managed somehow to procure. Whilst quelling whatever resistance you might meet in this noble coup of yours, you'd be well advised to look to Lani for counsel. She'd make the finest of advisors, second only to myself, of course. Utula might appear to conduct himself with honesty and honor, yet has all the telltale signs of a desperate man born of desperate times. As the cornered animal will bite and claw, the cornered man will lie, steal, and murder in the name of survival. It's understandable, and deadly if underestimated. I can't really fault Justicar Casticus, a man committed, heart and soul, to upholding the law. Of course, law isn't the same thing as justice, and men like Casticus lack the imagination necessary to make that distinction. Avarice, innocence, I'm not sure there's a great deal of difference. Around the time I heard the beast's mortal scream, the newly appointed High Templar Avarius went through something of a revelation. The manner in which he speaks and acts now would indicate that he believes, without doubt, that he is some earthly embodiment of God. That's faith for you. It'll reduce grown men to the madness of infancy. I gave Piety everything, devoted my life to her work. What did that thankless bitch do for me in return? Left me here to polish her beakers while she pursued glory in Rayclast. Oh. You killed her, did you? Likely as not, you'd have killed me too had I been there. In that case, perhaps we both got exactly what we deserved. Piety and I have devoted ourselves to the betterment of the human condition. As for our methods, Piety had a saying that summed it up nicely. Would you consider the feelings of the stones when constructing a glorious cathedral in the name of God? Casticus supplied us with slaves, mostly Kardui, and I put them to good use. In fact, I believe their participation in my experiments elevated them from squalor to splendor. Our subjects were able to give their otherwise meaningless lives to something greater than themselves. Isn't that what we all want in the end?
Yes?
Yes.
Yes?